The year is moving fast, and April is looking wonderful for the indie scene. A few great games for the month, some interesting merely at an aesthetic level, good strategy, and this one. But for now, open up Steam, grab a drink, and start wishlisting. Inspector Schmidt, the Ebbing. An investigative RPG where you play Detective Schmidt, who conducts an inquiry about a murder in a small town, talk to suspects, look for clues, and explore the seaside town of Hofstedt. This is a sequel to Active Fungus Studios' previous game, where our titular inspector investigated another murder in a small town. If you're good at something, never do it for free. I love a good mystery, and while this game does seem a bit janky, that's never put any of us off. This guy's face though, 10 out of 10. The Fool's Apprentice. A mage school management game where it's your job as head arcanist to make sure your students pass their curriculum at all costs. This seems to take more influence from Dungeon Keeper than Harry Potter, and it might be more fun for it. Abuse your students to your heart's content, make sure they attend classes, and get a proper education on their spells. I like the vibe on this one. It has a dark comedic tone and allows you to use a range of spells to influence your students into taking the right path. Check it out. Tiny Garden. Anyone remember Mighty Max or Polly Pocket? This is very much taking inspiration from those toys. Build your garden into a pocket-sized toy, pull the crank to have your vegetables grow, and exchange them for furniture to build your perfect little dream house. I wonder what the exchange rate is. 2 cucumbers a table, 10 carrots for 1 bed? This looks like a pretty relaxing game from AO Norte, and seems like something that could have been released on the 3DS back in the day. Badlands Crew. A Mad Max-styled vehicle management sim from Runner Duck, the team behind Bomber Crew. You need to build a truck that can survive the dangerous post-apocalyptic terrain outside, as well as all the roving gangs like pyros, vultures, clowns, and gun nuts. Americans? The game also has an in-depth crew customization option, where you can create your favorite wasteland warrior from Max Rokitansky to the Legion of Doom. This game looks like a good mixture of sandbox vehicle design, troop management, and just a dash of madcap humor. SEDAP, a culinary adventure. What if Overcooked forced you to leave the kitchen to find the ingredients? Play as one of 2 characters, Psalm the Crooker or Gon the Hunter, as you scour the land looking for ingredients to whip up some dishes to keep your business afloat. The game emphasizes co-op gameplay, but has a solo mode for those of us lacking a nearby friend. I'm getting strong 3DS vibes in style, maybe because I've been spending the last few days just glued to mine. But the visuals look fantastic and the co-op looks like a lot of fun. Peppered, an existential platformer. A game where your failures are just another fork on the road. Peppered has an interesting idea, set to the backdrop of platforming gameplay that evokes a very familiar feeling. Every encounter and area has multiple paths ahead. Get to the boss and fail. No problem, that just opens another path for you to take. While the idea is worth keeping an eye on, the question is just, does the game play well enough to warrant going back to it? It ranges from your hard-as-nails platforming to some stealth sections and even a chase involving an office chair. If all these elements come well together, this could be a great hit. Doll's Nest. Did you play Armored Core and think to yourself, this is cool but I wish SOL 644 was hotter and could be on a body pillow? Then Doll's Nest is for you. A sexy mecha shooter that actually looks surprisingly good. Combat is fast, there's a good level of customization, and the story is just suitably vague for soul mech likes. Is that accurate? Probably not. I do kind of hope it has some multiplayer co-op, but otherwise it looks like a surprisingly good title for April. Nine Kings is a kingdom builder roguelite. Stack your hand and use the cards to build your kingdom. And remember, location is key. Once properly set up, you must defend your kingdom from enemy troops. While playing, there are unique events that can give you new cards and perks. While these elements are typical of a roguelite, they don't overshadow the compelling concept of constructing your kingdom via cards. Feels like the kind of game that beckons you for 10 minutes, but then you end the night hours later having forgotten to cook dinner. Roman Triumph, survival city builder. From one city builder to another that is more traditional, Roman Triumph from Core Effect Interactive is a city builder where if you don't properly pay tribute to the gods, they can send a giant lizard to ruin your town. The game demands intense focus on city building, prioritizing survival as you fend off relentless barbarian hordes, eager for your wine and gourmet cheese. So build up your walls, arrow towers, and ballistae to keep all manner of enemies at bay. build amazing Roman architecture, and make sure you don't get overrun. Blueprints is an open-ended puzzle exploration game where you spend a day traveling through the Mount Holly Manor in order to find room 46. Every day you're tasked with creating the layout for the mansion by choosing the rooms you want to visit and their placement. This will help you find new tools to progress further, but every day the manor resets and you get access to new rooms which affect your planning. A puzzle game with an interesting method of progression. The question is how challenging the puzzles will be and whether the room progression remains engaging. I'm pretty excited to see what this game has in store. All in Abyss is a visual novel poker RPG where you use various skills to affect your hand in poker, like making your opponent feel under the pressure or being able to count the cards. Your ultimate goal is to defeat the witches which control the city. That's done by also exploring and talking to characters to find out how they cheat and using that against them. Looks like the perfect date night game if you get stood up. Stygian Outer Gods, a game that takes a lot of inspiration from Pathologic 2 and the more recent Resident Evils. Stygian Outer Gods from Mysterio Games is a survival RPG set in the Stygian universe, one that takes liberally from the writings of Lovecraft. Now you might be asking, another game set in an eldritch hellscape? Yes, but it looks fun. The atmosphere is on point, but combat doesn't empower your character to be a badass, instead having you barely survive encounters as you scrounge supplies and try to stop the ascension of the old gods. Needless to say, they aren't coming to have pizza with you. Echoes of Yi, Samsara. Chinese Sekiro is here. Again. The Asian markets have really been hitting the Souls-like genre hard over the last few years, and Samsara is set to hit all the notes in the genre for fans who enjoy a good beating. There does seem to be a nice variety of weapons to learn and master in order to beat the hard-as-nail bosses. The trailers don't really sell me on the world though, as it seems incredibly drab with its very muted color style, but combat looks fluid and fun. And that's really the selling point of games like this. Crashlands 2, a sequel to the open-world crafting RPG Crashlands. Explore a strange-looking alien world with a very cartoony art style that is both vibrant and strangely appealing. Find recipes to craft new items and weapons to defend yourself. You can also hatch eggs you find to raise creatures that can help and protect you. Along with just the survival aspect of gameplay, you can also befriend creatures and do various quests on the planet. There's a lot in this little package, very much a sequel that just gives more. Electro Boxing League. Rock'em Sock'em robots, mixed with an auto battler and a rhythm game. Three things you wouldn't expect to go together, like a banana, peanut butter, and honey sandwich. Perfect. The atmosphere of the retro-futuristic world, accompanied with electro jazz and swing music, is wonderfully expressive. Reminds me of Skullgirls with that jazz punk feel. Unless there's another word for that genre. I haven't heard it yet. In order to win matches, it's all about setting up your robot's loadout for the upcoming fight. Use punch cards for abilities. Fix the damage between rounds and just start clicking to win. Interesting idea and hopefully just as fun. Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. What is a month without a gorgeous Metrovania on the list? And Mandragora looks jaw-dropping. The lighting, smooth animation of enemies, coupled with the beautiful environment designs, are enough to sell me on this dark fantasy. It's like the sequel to Salt and Sacrifice that we never got. Pick your class and venture out into the world of entropy and just start slashing monsters until you've convinced your boss you're cool and deserve that raise. I want to give praise to the Steam page for essentially saying, you've seen this all before, but this product is just quality. I do hope to experience the truth in advertising there. Game looks fantastic. What happens when you smash Die Hard into Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Skin Deep, a beautifully arranged immersive sim from Blendo Games. This is the top pick for me this month, purely based on its weird concept and lots of ragdolling. Oh, how I missed you. The ship is open-ended and so are your options in dealing with the pirates, which need to be eliminated in order to save the crew, the precious, hairy, cuddly crew. The game looks amazing and with a great sense of humor about its setting. I see this being a hit, at least with me. Lushfoil Photography Sim. Explore a bunch of beautiful locations and take photos. Why go outside to touch grass when you have Unreal Engine 5 at home to simulate touching it for you? The areas you explore are gorgeous and definitely aren't hiding anything creepy behind their relaxing veneer. And peaceful exteriors. Developed by one man, this game is all about the beauty of nature and how experiencing it is definitely not creepy at all. This game will bring you a level of peace you never believed you could experience. Yasha, Legends of the Demon Blade, a Japanese-themed roguelike where you either play an immortal ninja, furry samurai, or an oni, who seems a bit tiny. While the top-down action roguelike genre might be a bit overcrowded at the moment, Hades has not been dethroned yet, and what is royalty if not a challenge to get them off that big seat? Combat is fast-paced, the characters have different enough playstyles so there's no lack of variety, and the visuals are gorgeous. It has everything needed to be a success, and I'm interested to see how it lands. Private Military Manager, Tactical Auto Battler. It's all about the planning. Set up your team and give them the most optimal route in order to survive their mission. There's something appealing about being a true commander, who gives orders to your team and then watches them execute what you set up to the T. Your squad makeup is important. You need a variety of skill sets to progress. You can't just have a team of John Matrixes. Or could you? Tell your team what to do, take a swig, sit back, and watch the chaos unfold. Also, that name is a mouthful. I don't know how they expect people to talk about this by word of mouth. Out of Hands. I'm gonna need a hand explaining this one. A solo-developed horror deck-building game. Out of Hands is a unique collage style that mixes live action, animation, and other visual styles that is incredibly unnerving, but also kind of appealing if you enjoy the strange. Combat is done with cards you use to build your hand and face. I mean, your deck. I guess? You already know if you'd be into playing this or not, but I recommend everyone at least take a look at it. Its weirdness might just pull you in and make you give it a go. There's also a demo if you feel the need to be taken by the hand before you decide to get it. Sometimes I'm witty. Lunacid, Tears of the Moon, a spin-off to one of my favorite games of 2023. Lunacid Tears of the Moon is from the incredibly talented Kira that is built entirely with a Kingsfield making tool from 2000, which is impressive, but also might be insane from what I've read about how difficult that is. Expect more great exploration, weapons, and just a world that feels alive and unique. Using such a game engine does mean the controls are going to feel antiquated, but like all good things, it takes some time to get used to. Really excited to experience this one. Speaking of experience, I hope you've been enjoying this video, and if so, please give it a like. And if you enjoy indie games, then consider subscribing to this channel for more indie gaming goodness. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs before the year ends. Thank you for letting me show a little. On to the next game. Rusty Rabbit. This is basically SteamWorld Dig, but with rabbits. An improvement. I think so. You play as Stamp, a digger who is essentially a rabbit that just digs. So get to it. You need to use your mech to progress further down the mountain to find more resources to sell and upgrade your mech. There is an attitude here I really love. Stamp smokes and the tagline is, "Cute little bunny, not a chance." Reminds me of Fur Fighters or Metal Arms. Expect a lot of exploration and murdering exotic animals that help get to that illustrious gold mine. This is the first game from Nitro Plus coming out in the same month, with Doll's Nest being later. I'm wondering which game got the most effort. Chains of Freedom. A turn-based tactics game from Nord Current that is set in dystopian Eastern Europe, being overrun by mutants and other terrors. Instead of a mission-based selection like XCOM or similar games, you can explore the world and see the devastation firsthand of a worn-down society. The game kind of reminds me of Mutant Year Zero, with the narrative being tied to the combat and level design, which isn't the standard for turn-based tactics games. And from the trailer, it seems you're also playing the villain of the story, which is a fun little piece of entertainment to indulge in. Fool me once. Necrophosis looks amazing. Wonderful art direction, haunting visuals, the Sardaukar chant. This game is taking an artistic swing that can only make you go, that crazy. But there is a scorn-sized elephant in the room, and while I cannot blame Necrophosis for that disappointment, I'm still feeling some hesitation for a game that looks and plays similar. The puzzles in the demo were interesting and the environment suitably haunting, so this could be fantastic. Lots of people are looking forward to this one, so keep an eye out and let's hope it's good. Aviassembly. Build your own plane, take it to the skies, and hilariously hit the ground at Mach speed. Aviassembly is an open world flight game. You put together a plane and then take it on a mission to deliver cargo in order to get cash for more parts. It gives me big Sky Odyssey vibes. Go check that out if you want to play a PS2 flight gem. The game has a minimal visual style, but the building options look plenty extensive. And I love the idea of just seeing how far I can push the limits of building a plane shaped like a person. Maybe a good game to relax to on the weekend while enjoying a delicious beer. Tempest Rising. Imitation might be the sincerest form of flattery, but this is just straight up hiding the body and assuming their identity. Tempest Rising is a real-time strategy that takes a lot of elements from the Red Alert and Tiberium Sun series, essentially all the strategy games Westwood made, which is not bad considering how EA have just been sitting on those franchises, allowing them to sink into obscurity, or worse, releasing them into terrible mobile games. However, the game has a 7-day early access fee, which has a disproportionately high price tag attached to it. But maybe it is that good. Keeping our fingers crossed. Bokura Planet. Bokura Planet is a 2-player puzzle platformer, where the perspective is unique to both players. None of you see the same things, so it's important to communicate with each other and figure out how to progress. It has a cute visual style that's meant to distract you, because much like the previous game, it promises to get a bit strange and dark. It should be an interesting experience for players who enjoy playing co-op, but want something unique to spend their time on. A sequel to Descenders, and all about taking things to the extreme. Gravity is your friend as you either go down a snowy peak or dirty hill. So there's no doubt that this won't be just as good, if not even better. Graphics wise, it's fantastic for an indie title. The environment successfully immerse you into the feeling of barreling down full speed towards victory, or meeting the ground face first. I wish one of these games would just take it to the next logical step with SSX-like intensity. But until then, this looks great. Escape the Mad Empire. A party-based roguelike RPG, Escape the Mad Empire has your classic dungeon crawler design as you and your party try to escape. You can choose between 13 classes, then chart your path through the dungeon to find a way out. But the feat is in the end. Build incredible machines in your sanctuary to help you on the next run. This looks like a lot of fun. Good tactical combat, great range of abilities, items, and hopefully some challenging but not too frustrating encounters. Something to keep an eye on. Now this is what I call a list. April might be more packed than a hoarder's bathroom. Let me know if any of these games looked interesting to you, and are maybe first day purchases. Lots of great stuff, and we're only in April this time. Gaming is still going strong, but also thank you for watching. I hope to see you all next time. Goodbye.